Peggy, you can start.
Okay. Good morning. I am Peggy Frymoyer, your platform practitioner for today's service. I will be leading the meditation this morning. It will last about 20 minutes. First, we'll start with getting comfortable in your chairs, be it a chair or your sofa or whatever you're sitting in at home. Just get comfortable. If you can sit firmly with your back straight to the back of your chair, with your feet on flat on the floor, hands comfortably in your laps or to your side. This is where we're going to start. And since you're home, you could even lay down on the floor or whatever else might be comfortable. It looks like Jen Lyons might be getting creative there. So you may close your eyes if you haven't already. We'll start by doing something really simple. We'll pay attention to our own breathing. Let's do that for a few breaths, taken at your own pace. Pay attention to the quality of your breathing. Is it shallow? Is it full and deep? Are there ways you'd like to change it? If so, I invite you to go ahead and change it in a gentle way. Do all of this at your own pace. April's theme is bright beginnings. And so, with quarantine or staying in place, we get to also celebrate the 50th Earth Day on this coming Wednesday, April 22nd, in a way that we have never had the opportunity to before. Skies are blue in a way that they have never been before, even in the most polluted of places or cities. Animals and wildlife are reclaiming the landscape. Lions sleep in the middle of what were once busy roads. The ground is not shaking from the constant rumble of cars, construction equipment, trains, planes, and automobiles that have been abusing its surface for years. Water is clearing. The earth is healing. For this Earth Day, the earth is truly healing, being given a break for all of its hard work, giving us a place to live. And we are able to heal along with the earth. In our mindfulness, we enhance our powers of perception. Notice after this meditation if you think clearer, or maybe it won't happen until tomorrow, but for many of us, it will happen. Notice through mindfulness and self-reflection that negative thoughts and feelings are transformed into optimism, that your motivation and creativity increases, your decision-making abilities are enhanced, and your ability to empathize with others grows. Compassion increases, self-love soars, and a new voice that is your inner teacher and spiritual compass will guide you toward greater awareness and compassion and serenity. This time of quarantine is a gift. There may be more time just to be in the moment, to put the doingness away for a while. Just be. Nothing else matters in this moment. There is no anger. There is no judgment. There's no self-judgment. Just the now, the present, the gift of time, of awareness of the now present moment. Nothing else exists in this moment. There may be new sounds around you that are different than the ones we're used to. Maybe the hum of your refrigerator or the hum of your heater. Maybe the breathing sounds of a sleeping cat or dog next to you or of a partner. You might hear the ticking of a clock going on near you. Incorporate its rhythm into your body, into your meditation. Sway a little with each beat. Get creative. You are one with all that surrounds you. Birds might be singing outside your window. Welcome their energy into your world in peace and love. And all of this is good and very good. This is the healing moment that many of us have been waiting for. We'll have about 6 minutes of silence. Give yourself the gift of self love in these moments. If you get distracted, just bring yourself back to your breath. If your monkey mind shows up, tell it that you'll spend some time with it after the meditation. This moment is for you to be, to love, to listen. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring your expanded state with you as you open your eyes. Bring your hands over, out and over your heads and down in front of you as you say namaste. And now we'll be listening to some pre-service music by Deb Chamberlain.
Thank you, Peggy. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day out. I walked my dog this morning and I thought, ooh, a day to get out. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. And I hope you relax and enjoy being with us this morning. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. The brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday you will join us and the world will live as one. Hi. Thumbs up or thumbs down if the sound is okay? Okay, awesome. Yay. So this next song is a song that my husband Robert Wynn and I wrote many years ago, and I think it's very relevant now. So it's called The Time Has Come. The time has come, the time has come for all the world to see. There's a cloud on the horizon, there's a star up in the sky. I believe in answers for every question why. Is love and understanding find the light of day? When the rains come pouring down, the truth cannot be washed away. The time has come, the time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. I can't speak your tongue, and you don't know my name. But the light in our eyes is shining just the same. With doubt still in our minds, but hope still in our hearts. One friendship at a time, now that's a place to start. The time has come, the time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. If not now, then when? This day won't come again. No, if not me, then who? Reach out my hands to you. The time has come, the time has come, all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. The time has come. The time has come for all the world to see. The time has come for everyone. The time has come for peace. Hello. Are any of those chats for me? Okay, just making sure there's no technical feedback. All right, I have time to play one more song. This is a song we wrote after we came back from Israel in the year 2000. And it's on my first CD. Speaking of which, guess what? I'm releasing a new CD digitally this week, so keep your eyes out for it. It'll be on my social media and my website, theawakenedartist.net. And songs I've written for this community and recorded recently. So it's called Songs for the Soul. This song is called If Only. If only there could be peace in the Middle East. If only there was but joy for every girl and boy. If only we could believe what we cannot see. If only, if only, if only we open our hearts from the very start. If only we think with a mind that's free and kind. If only we'd honor every vow, some way way somehow. If only, if only, if only I could love you the way you want me to. If only I took the chance. Let's talk about love. It's what we need more of. Let's talk about peace, possibility. Let's talk about us. As we're riding on this bus, maybe we can get there. If only we could go back and change the past. If only nothing was real but the good we feel. If only I could depend on what you defend. If only, if only, if only we could join hands and give our love a chance. If only miracles would cure what we can't endure. If only we could make life seem like a beautiful dream. If only, if only, if only you could love me the way I want you to. If only you had a chance. Let's talk about love. It's what we need more of. Let's talk about peace, possibility. Let's talk about us. 'Cause we're riding on this bus. Maybe we can get there. Oh, oh, yeah. Let's talk about love. Oh, let's talk about peace. Oh, let's talk about us. We're riding on this bus. Maybe, maybe. Oh, oh, yeah. Let's talk about love. We have 2 minutes. Should I play another song? Okay. Hold on. This is a nice, simple little song. It's called Blessing to the World by Karen Drucker. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do Thank you. I'm going to bring back Peggy to do our evocation this morning. Enjoy the service, everyone.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. Yay. For those who don't know me, I'm Peggy Freimware. I'm the platform practitioner for today's service. If you haven't already, would you please close your eyes, turn within, and join me in prayer. God is all there is. God is the ultimate reality, the one life, the one source energy, the one unified field of pure potentiality and possibility, the one source. And as God is all of these things, each one of us is all of these things. Each and every one of us has all the God qualities within us just waiting to burst forth. Each one of us has the creative power of the universe within us, ready to be expressed. Each one of us is an individual presence on this earth, able to create heaven on earth. We are that thing now and in every moment that we are here on earth. And as each of us has their own creative power, we are all in this together, in one profound shared experience. We enter into a new consciousness and creativity that was not available before this shared experience. Through mindfulness and self-reflection, negative feelings and thoughts are transformed into optimism, happiness, and success. Compassion increases and self-love soars. And no one, regardless of their enlightenment, can be what many of us can be when we are awake together. April's theme is bright beginnings. And so with quarantiners staying in place, we also get to celebrate the 50th Earth Day this coming Wednesday, April 22nd, in a way that we have never had an opportunity to before. The skies are blue in a way that they have never been before, even in the most polluted places or cities. Animals and wildlife are reclaiming the landscape. Lions sleep in the middle of what were once busy roads. The ground is not shaking from the constant rumble of cars, construction equipment, trains, planes, and automobiles that have been abusing its surface for years. The water is clearing. The earth is healing, and each of us is healing. For this Earth Day, the earth is truly healing, being given a break for all of its hard work, giving us a place to live. And so I give thanks to each and every one of us who heard the call to be at this service, and to all who are here in spirit. Each one of us is the backbone of what makes up the Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. I also give thanks to each and every one of us who gives time and service to all the activities that keep CSL Delaware running, especially in these times. I give thanks to Reverend Kathleen for all of her preparation for this Sunday service and for her leadership at all times. I give thanks to all who make the Center of Spiritual Living one. I give thanks for this truth and for all of these things that make up our CSL Delaware service today, and for all the love and connection that brings us all together into manifesting this joyful Zoom service. And so it is. Next up is Reverend Kathleen, who will be speaking next.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Peggy.
You're welcome.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Peggy, for your beautiful prayer and the wonderful reminder of Earth Day, 50th anniversary, to which our service is dedicated today. And So as we do our moment of receptivity that we do at the beginning of service, let's also bring in all of that goodness for not only ourselves, our spiritual community and humanity, but also for our entire planet, and in particular, the plant and animal kingdoms. So repeat after me. I open my heart to the universe,
I open my heart to the universe,
accepting love and healing.
accepting love and healing.
And I open my mind to the universe,
I open my mind to the universe,
accepting wisdom and understanding.
accepting wisdom and understanding.
And so let's bring that into our hearts. Know that what we are doing in this very moment is activating those qualities and that receptivity in our own being, and that we are activating that in the collective mind of humanity and truly making a difference. And let's say together, yes, and so it is. Thank you. Okay, so I'd now like to introduce Virgie, who is going to be doing our announcements for today. Welcome, Virgie.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. Good morning, family. I'm going to be reading our 2020 intention and then giving our announcements. 2020 intention. We, the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, are a welcoming, vibrant, inclusive spiritual community rooted in New Thought, ancient wisdom principles. We are here to be the presence of love and to co-create heaven on earth, a world that works for everyone. Now I'd like to go over our announcements for today. First up, Marianne Ruan, who's one of our licensed practitioners, is leading a 40-day guided meditation challenge. It actually started on the 13th and it's streamed live on CSL Delaware Facebook and on Zoom each morning. A recording of each session is posted on Facebook. Even though it started on last Monday, there's still plenty of time to participate. You can go to the website to check out the details. And the other thing that you might want to note is that metaphysically, the number 40 equals the time it takes to transform consciousness. So this is a good time to begin to go within and to see, what's our next? What's our next level of consciousness that we can achieve? Next up, the next spiritual growth circle is going to be meeting on Zoom on May the 2nd from 9:30 until 11:30. Right now we're reading, I'm a member of the circle, we're reading More Together Than Alone, Discovering the Power and the Spirit of Community in Our Lives and in the World Today. The book is by Mark Nepo. And one thing that I want to share very quickly, if you can see the screen there, those are aspen grove trees. I've learned that since I've been reading the book. And at first I thought it's just a bunch of trees, but underneath are all the roots. So up top, there are individual trees, but underneath they're all connected. And so that's just one example of the many examples that are in the book so far of what it means to be a strong community. If you're interested in joining us, please send an email to Mary Kegelman. You can still participate even though we've already started. Once we receive your email, we'll send you a Zoom link no later than May 1st so that you can join us. The last item that I have to share with you is that all teens are invited to join our CSL DE Teens group on Zoom on Sunday, May the 3rd at 1:30. Reverend Bill Marciani will be the facilitator, and either Mary Kegelman or Lucinda Elam will be present as a teen advisor. Anybody can attend it. Teens who you think might benefit from it, doesn't matter what their religious background is or if they may not have any at all, as well as adults who are interested in becoming teen advisors. So that's all that I have for you for right now. And right now I'd like to turn everything over to Deb.
All right. So we have this beautiful song that we're going to sing, and I hope you'll sing it at home. I Rise in God. It's by Reverend Michael Beckwith and Ricky Byers. rise in God. I rise in God. God is the way to me. All that I am to be is rising every day in God. I sing of God. I sing of God. Oh, I sing of God, singing its song through me. All that I am is God's melody. I'm singing every day of God. I yield to God. I yield to God. Oh, I yield to God. For God is all I see. All that I am is God rising as me. I'm yielding every day to God. And when I close my eyes to sleep, I fly in God. I flow in God. I glow, I grow in God. I rise in God. I rise in God. Oh, I rise in God. God is the way to me. All that I am to be is rising every day in God. 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 Oh, rising every day. Rising every day. Rising every day in God. Thank you all.
Good morning, CSL family. Seeing with 2020 Spiritual Vision is the CSL theme for this year, and April's theme is Bright Beginnings. Today's topic, Unwritten in honor of Earth Day. Mark Waldman and Chris Manning, PhD, wrote in Neurowisdom, The New Brain Science of Money, Happiness, and Success. Tucked away behind the folds of the neocortex are two of the newest evolutionary structures of the human brain, the insula and the the anterior cingulate. They contain special neurons that give you profound powers of perception. They enhance your ability to be self-directed and socially aware, but they remain largely underdeveloped in most people. Recent brain imaging studies have proved that you can consciously strengthen these neurons and the connections between your social brain, your decision-making brain, frontal lobes, and the emotional centers that shape your desires and level of happiness. When you stimulate these complex circuits through mindfulness and self-reflection, something happens. Negative feelings and thoughts are transformed into optimism. Your motivation and creativity increases. Your decision-making skills are enhanced, and your ability to empathize with others rapidly grows. Compassion increases, self-love soars, and a new voice can be heard, one that will guide you toward greater awareness and serenity. The voice within is your inner teacher and spiritual compass. It will help you to achieve your financial and emotional goals and bring more passion and satisfaction into your relationships and work. Nurture it daily, and it will enlighten and enrich your life. So let us now speak this affirmation out loud together with enthusiasm. Today, I am rising in love universal. I am a full participant in the great awakening of humanity. Letting go of all that is selfish and divisive, I write a new chapter of my life now that expresses the love that I am in truth. Thank you. And now we have Reverend Kathleen to give us our message for today.
Thank you, Linda. There's some really amazing work that's going on in the meeting of science and consciousness, the scientist and the mystic. And I'm really grateful to people like Mark Waldman, Andrew Newberg, who actually write an article in the Science of Mind magazine each month. So by now, my friends, I know that it is dawning on all of us that Mother Earth and all of her creatures are finally having a respite from all of the human activity and all of the consequences of that human activity on the planet. With fewer fossil fuels, as Peggy mentioned in her prayer, the air is becoming amazingly clearer, and not just in certain places, but all over the world, particularly in cities. And people are able to see things that they haven't seen in 30 and sometimes even 60 years. The tops of the Himalayas are now visible from places that were not able to see them for 30 years or so. And the water in Venice is clear for the first time in 60 years. With the advent of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, to me, this is a very profound statement that is being made for us. That is, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming that this is a motivating stimulus for humanity to spur them all, and I'm saying them, us, to spur all of us into action, to do our part to remove the obstacles that have been in the way of Mother Nature naturally restoring herself. And you know, it all begins within. Because the obstacles that we see, the results of them, the pollution and so on, begin within as thoughts of fear, divisiveness, competition, greed, you know, all of those things that produce things that harm the planet and harm each other. Ernest Holmes, I think, so beautifully expresses this new mindset that's required for us to really make some lasting change. He said, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know that there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern, there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness." So how do we get there? How do we, as a whole, get to the place where that is our mindset, where we think in terms of interconnectedness, oneness, and that we're truly all in this together? And you know, the signs of it are showing up. I mean, we're all in this together on TV a lot lately. And so thank you, Deb, for your part of that inspiration, for writing your song that we're going to be ending our service with. You know, though, what I love is the way in which science is finally catching up with what the mystics have taught over time. And for those of us who really love to see some solid proof, and of course I've seen solid proof by seeing the results of my spiritual practice over the years, but it's also nice to see that more and more people are coming on board in the field of the sciences to prove what the mystics have taught, and that we can literally rewire our brains for higher consciousness through tried and true spiritual practices, meditation, and we call it spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, filling our minds with ideas of truth, mindfulness, gratitude, forgiveness. In that particular book that was mentioned by Linda when she read it, by Mark Waldman, which is called Neuro Wisdom, it is a full book on not only the results of brain imaging, but also actual practices and ways to put those practices into practice, so that we can truly rewire our brains. So we're not only activating new parts of our brains through these practices, but we are also interconnecting everything, which is a beautiful metaphor for that state of oneness, bringing our brains into a state of oneness, our body minds into a state of oneness, so that we are divine centers of operation for that higher consciousness of oneness, of universal love. And here's the thing, it requires that we practice daily, that we keep up the practice, and that not only that, we are aware of our thoughts throughout the day so that we can turn them around when they're not going in the right direction. I know this is nothing new for those of us who have been involved in New Thought for many years, but it's a great reminder of how important it is that we take responsibility for ourselves. There's a saying that Johnny Coleman, Reverend Johnny Coleman, brought to the planet that I think is so powerful in this instance. She said, "It works if you work it." These principles that we teach, these practices that we teach, work if you work it. They don't work if you just use it as a source of entertainment. So I'm really encouraging all of you, if you haven't already committed to a daily practice, that you do that now, that you find accountability partners. This is where prayer partners really come in handy. This is where joining Marianne Ruan in the 40-day challenge, this is where that kind of thing comes in. To start a new habit pattern so that it's just a part of your day, like brushing your teeth. And so as we bring our minds into alignment through spiritual practice with our true nature, then that becomes our default program. That's how we show up in the world. And it's through this consciousness of oneness, of everything all interconnected and working together, that we can attain the seemingly impossible. And to me, that's so important as we approach Earth Day, to realize that we can attain the impossible together. We truly can do that. Even our community, with the size that we are, if we all dedicate ourselves to daily practice, to condition the mind, to have the mind be in a condition that it gives birth to new ideas, new innovations, and also a commitment to doing our part each and every day through recycling and all of the different sustainability practices that Michelle's been sharing with us in the newsletter and its services each week. So we can do this together. So what is it that's going on that gets in the way? And it's what we call our story. So my intention today is to invite all of us to rewrite our stories, to really take responsibility of rewriting our stories of the past. And yes, we can do that. Brain science shows that we can literally reframe our past and feel differently about it. We can tell ourselves a different story. And also to write the unwritten story of our present and the future. So rewriting the past. When I think of rewriting the past, I immediately think of forgiveness. Forgiveness, yes. I mean, it is the bridge from victim consciousness into the higher states of consciousness. Forgiveness work is absolutely part of how you make that bridge, how you make that leap. So what is forgiveness in truth? It is a shift of perception, a way of looking at things, and it's a new perception of looking at things that frees us to be in the present moment instead of revisiting the past over and over again in our minds, because the past is gone. So as we look at our past from a higher perception, we free ourselves. There's a story of Buddha. He was a master at this. And from Buddhism, they call it non-attachment. So actually, if you practice this in each and every moment, you wouldn't have to spend a lot of time practicing forgiveness. So let's see how Buddha modeled this. The story goes that one day, Buddha was addressing his followers when a man unleashed a whole series of obscenities at him. The Buddha simply smiled very softly at the man. And at this, the man continued to escalate his words of abuse. Finally, the man gave up and said to Buddha, "Why are you so unmoved? I've tried everything imaginable here to upset you." And the Buddha said, "If you are offered a gift and refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man thought for a moment and he said, "I guess it belongs to the giver." And Buddha replied to that. He said, "Well, sir, I have declined your gift." What a beautiful way of being. And that's what these practices instill in us, this way of looking at life, that we're able to stay centered in source, in truth, in love, and not take on the abuse of others or the condemnation of others, realizing that everything, this is from A Course in Miracles, that everything is either love or a call for love. That man in his own way was calling for love, otherwise he wouldn't be doing that. So for those of us who have not yet reached Buddha mind, we practice forgiveness to free ourselves from having taken on that unwanted gift of someone else's harsh words or actions. And so there is a very short but powerful phrase that we can use each and every time we notice ourselves revisiting the past. And it's this: we imagine the person in front of us or the people and say, "You have no power over me. I set myself free and I set you free." I'm going to repeat that so you can say that with me. "You have no power over me. I set myself free and I set you free." As we forgive, we move ourselves out of the revisiting of the past over and over again into the present moment. And this is where our power is, to not only create or co-create our present moment experience, but to co-create our experience from this moment forward, to start planting new visions and new seeds. So this is valuable for our own lives, and this is valuable for our collective lives on this planet. As we forgive and move into a higher perspective, we are truly rewriting our story of the past. And I'd like to give you an example of this. In the late 80s and early 90s, I really came on board with this idea of forgiveness through studying first A Course in Miracles, and then getting involved into science of mind and into a religious science church. And back in those days, I did a lot of forgiveness work. I had this whole story about my past that was making me constantly miserable. And so I was determined I was going to let go of this. So in practitioner training, we took this to the next step. Not only did we do the forgiveness work, but we also rewrote the story of our past. So I changed mine from a grievance story to a story of transcension, a story of how I overcame great obstacles, transcended, and became the person that I am here today. That was a huge burden off of me, and it's something that any of us can do. So I invite you, if you haven't done so already, to give yourself some time journaling and rewriting the story of the past. Because now you can be free to write a new story. And that's the next thing that I wanted to share. So I have a beautiful story to share with you. It took place in December of 2005. It was a front page article in the San Francisco Chronicle on December 14th, 2005. And this is how it goes. A humpback female whale had become entangled in hundreds of yards of fishing line and rope and crab traps that encircled her entire body, all the way down to her tail, including her torso and even line going through her mouth. She struggled to remain afloat. A fisherman spotted her just outside the Golden Gate Bridge and radioed an environmental group for help. Within hours, a rescue team arrived and dove into the water to untangle her, which was a very dangerous proposition because one slap of a tail of a whale like that could kill a rescuer. And they worked for hours, slowly cutting the ropes. And the interesting thing is that she never became aggressive, not even one moment. In fact, one of the divers who cut the rope out of her mouth said that he noticed that her eye followed him while he was cutting. And when he looked in it, he could see gratitude. Eventually, she was freed. And when she was free, the divers said she did something totally unexpected. She swam in joyous circles. And then, even more amazing, she came up to each one of the divers and nudged them one at a time, as if to say, thank you, and then went on her way. What a beautiful story for Earth Day. And then you might be asking, well, what does this story have to do with rewriting my story, or writing a new story, I guess is what I'm saying, with writing a new story? Because, my friends, it actually has everything to do with it. A state of gratitude is the consciousness from which you're able to write extraordinary stories. Abraham Maslow once said, the primary cause of personal suffering and being stuck in the past is taking our blessings for granted. I'm going to say that again. The primary cause of personal suffering and being stuck in the past is taking our blessings for granted. And you may have noticed that. You may have noticed people who have so many blessings in their lives, and all they do is they focus on what's wrong. And maybe you're one of those people at times. So it's really important to understand that the consciousness that gives birth to the new is a consciousness that's in a state of gratitude. And that means consciously looking for the good and then feeling grateful for it, or acknowledging, saying to others, thank you. Something that we learned a long time ago as children, and yet so valuable, for rewiring our brains in a way that we show up as a new being, a new higher order being. And listen to what Mark Waldman says about how gratitude rewires the brain. He said, it rewires us for enhanced social relationships, increased motivation, optimism, alertness, enthusiasm, determination, attentiveness, self-esteem, pro-social behavior, and life satisfaction. As you give thanks for your blessings that you've received from others, you are literally rewiring yourselves to be a healing presence on the planet, to be one that gives birth to the new. So I'd like to share with you how even in the midst of challenges like we're going through right now, that we can write a new story. And many of you have heard this. It's been out online recently. And it's a poem by Kathleen O'Meara that was written in March 2020 in the midst of this COVID-19 and being sheltered in place. And just notice her ability to look for the good. People stayed home, read books, listened, rested, exercised, made art, played, learned new ways of being, and were still and listened more deeply. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone danced, someone met their own shadow, and people started thinking differently. People healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, I love how she said, found themselves, their true selves, they grieved for the dead and they made new choices and dreamed new visions and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully, just as they had been healed. Such a beautiful bringing together all that I've talked about today. So I'd like all of us to practice that in this moment. You can use the chat box, if any of you who know how to use the chat box, or you can just bring out your journals and paper. So I'd like to put this into effect right now. Let's become engaged in this process in this very moment. So before you do, you can get ready for it. If everybody grabs their journals, and I'll give you a moment to do that. And then I'd like you to just settle in. Take a breath. And relax deeply. Close your eyes. And so we're going to feel our feet. Feel the bottoms of your feet. And feel the energy that you suddenly notice when you bring your attention there. Where attention goes, energy flows. And then bring your attention to any part of your body that feels a little tense and tight, so we can allow energy to flow there. And also feel the energy in your hands, in your heart, in your solar plexus, all the way down into your abdominal area where the dantian is in Eastern cultures. Just see everything filled with light. Let's put our attention on the brain and see all of the centers in the brain activated in light, lit up. And then let's imagine, and knowing that as we are imagining this, that there is just a huge column of light above us, and that there, as we go upward, it also goes outward and all around us, forming a huge globe of light all around us. Only light comes through that light globe, and only light emits from it. And so let's begin with a practice of gratitude to get ourselves in that higher mindset. Think of people who have been kind to you, support you, help you, encourage you, and give thanks. Feel grateful silently. So if you're somebody who needs to journal that, to write people's names down, you can do that. Whatever your process is perfect for you. Thinking of people we feel grateful for. And so now, in honor of Mother Earth, let us begin to write a new story, your own version of how the current state of affairs is leading to the great awakening of humanity and the restoring of the earth. So again, you can either use the chat room to write these new visions down, or your journal. And I know that you'll continue to write after we leave today, but I would like to bring this to a close with a prayer. So let's turn within, taking a breath, giving thanks for this upwelling of creativity, for our commitment to be the greatest expressions of the divine that we can possibly be here on this planet, to be the embodiment of universal love, all-inclusive love, to be that place or that condition in consciousness that gives birth to a whole new earth, a whole new way of being in relationship with our beloved planet, with each other, with the plant and animal kingdom. I'm knowing that these ideas continue to flow in us, through us, and as us, and that our part is realized and recognized in that master plan of the restoration of Mother Earth and the reconnection of all humanity in a state of harmony and peace. Because we live, move, and have our being in one infinite source, one infinite presence, one mind, one life, God, the infinite. And that infinite universal presence is who we are. As we continue to recognize that, to anchor that in our neurobiology with our spiritual practice, we truly are showing up as the presence of love, as the presence of high consciousness and wisdom and strength and creativity, co-creating heaven on earth, a world that works for everyone and everything. So let's embrace this truth as happening here and now, happening here and now. A whole new leap in consciousness for our entire spiritual community happening now. And I give my thanks for that. I can feel that all the way deep down in my soul, in my bones, and feeling that sense of we're all in this together, that sense of interconnectedness and oneness with all life. And knowing the manifestation is taking place because we come from a place of deep conviction and knowing and understanding the power of universal law that takes the imprint of our word and brings it into manifestation. So I release this into the universal law of mind, in trusting it, knowing that it is so, it is happening here and now. And I invite us all to say together, yes, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And so I'd like now to introduce Deb.
It's beautiful. This is a song I wrote called Live, and it's for Mother Earth. As we give birth to our new earth, first we see her with our mind. She is bountiful, she is wondrous, all forgiving and kind. And as we listen to her silence, we know exactly how to give. So the best and the highest of everyone shall live. Live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sounds of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. So we give thanks for this new earth. From the ashes she will rise. As we breathe with her, we receive with her all the blessings of the skies. And with our loving hands and grateful hearts, we replenish every need. And with equal care and tenderness, we nurture every seed, so it can live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sounds of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. So let us live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sounds of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. Let's make heaven on earth our greatest legacy. And now we'd like to bring Virgie back to do the closing announcement.
Thanks, Deb. Michelle, I don't know if you want to do your sustainability tip first.
Sure, Virgie, I can do it first. Here, I can turn on my video too so you guys can actually see me. So I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to something that was inside the newsletter. In the newsletter was a beautiful message from the Centers for Spiritual Living overall community. And it has within it not only a very inspiring message about Earth Day, but it also has in it some great links. And each one of those links describes different things you can do while you're at home and to really make a difference and an impact environmentally, sustainably, and all of that. So that's where I'm going to just direct your attention as Earth Day is coming up, is to reread that, or go ahead in and read it and get all the way down to those great links there that have, like 10 great ways to reduce your, carbon footprint while you're still inside. And I'll just note that we already are, because we're inside and not using our cars. But so please feel free to check that out, and please share on our Facebook group. Please share, our Facebook page, any inspiring ideas you have about sustainability and what you're going to do for Earth Day. I also encourage you to keep an eye out. There is something with the National Geographic is actually going to be doing a wonderful something on Earth Day. And Mom, do you want to speak real quickly to that?
There's a 12-page article in the Delaware Online that that covers all of the different things that National Geographic is going to do. So I encourage you to take a look at that.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Michelle. Here are our closing announcements. For prayer requests, visit our licensed professional practitioners page. It's on our website. You will find their phone numbers there. Reverend Linda Patton, she's the contact for congregate care. Her number is 302-239-6080, but you'll also find that on the website. And just a note that we have a Spark of Leadership gathering today. It starts at 12:15. If you're a member of Spark, you should have received a Zoom link in your email. And that's all that I have. Love you, family. Back to you, Deb.
Real quick, Virgie, is that link the same, or Reverend Kathleen, is
No,
that link?
it's different.
It is a different link, guys. So just FYI for those who are there, you need to click on that link versus stay online here.
Thanks, Michelle. Back to you, Deb.
Okay, we're going to close with this song that's sort of become our little anthem here at Center for Spiritual Living. And like Reverend Kathleen said earlier, we hear this phrase every day. So maybe you'll have this song chanting through your head as you go through your days. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Sing along. We're love. Life is one for all, and all for one. 'Cause we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. Yes, we are. We're all in this together. In the heart of generosity, we can fill every need. When I give to you, I give to me. For what we give, we shall receive. 'Cause we're all in this together. Together we stand. We're all in this together. Together we rise. We're all in this together. You see, with one heart, we're all in this together. With love in our eyes, every beat of the heart of man returns us to our source again. So together we grow, and together we stand and co-create a sacred plan. We're all in this together. Together in truth, we're all in this together. Together in trust, we're all in this together. With one heart, we're all in this together. Together in love, yeah, we're all in this together. Together we stand, we're all in this together. Together we rise, we're all in this together. You see, with one heart, we're all in this together. Love in our eyes, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. With love in our eyes. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And now, Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Deb. Oh my gosh. You know, that's a great example of a demonstration because it's now on public TV. So go, Deb, and go community. So I want to first of all thank everybody for your generous donations that continues to help us be sustainable as a community. And I also wanted to mention that we have a new fund, if you feel so called a benevolent fund. And when you send in your donations, if you could just mark it benevolent fund, we can put it there. And our benevolent fund then is acted upon by our board of trustees. And if there is a need in our community, someone in our community or some other place, then we'll be able to give back, to give out our love in the form of money. Also, I wanted to mention that after service, you can have a prayer session with either Peggy or Reverend Linda. And to do that, I invite you to write, just write the word prayer in the chat box. And then Michelle will make sure and set that up with you afterwards. And anybody else who doesn't want prayer but just wants to hang on for a little while after service, we can say hello to each other, which is always fun. Michelle will make sure that we all come on the screen together. And then also you can stay in breakout rooms for further fellowship if you'd like, and Michelle will just distribute you into different breakout rooms. So my beloved family, my beloved spiritual family, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And have a beautiful day and have a beautiful Earth Day. So let's turn within in prayer and say together, or after me, perfect God within me,
Perfect God within me.
perfect life within me, which is God.
Perfect life within me, which is God.
Come forth into expression through me.
Come forth into expression through me.
As that which I am.
As that which I am.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love.
And cause me to see.
And cause me to see.
The good everywhere.
The good everywhere.
And so let's just proclaim that as so with a vibrant, Michelle's going to unmute us all now. With a vibrant.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So it is.
Yes.
So it is.
Service. Thank you.
Hi, Jenny.
Bye.
Bye.
On gallery view, if you put yourself on gallery view, you can see everybody.
How do you do that?
Yay.
Hey. On the top, on the right.
Hey, Jenny.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Let's see
How do
everybody.
you do that?
My God, I have a plain background.
How'd you get that, Marianne?
How do you do
I
that?
did it. I don't know. This Todd's computer.
Green screen.
It's on.
Yeah, it's like a green screen thing.
Yeah.
That's a photo Todd took.
I
See.
don't know how you do it.
Because Leslie's still on.
Boyer.